The Po' Boy Pundits podcast is brought to you by The Goddamn Sauce. Go to thegdsauce.com for details to order all the sauces to replace your ordinary condiments. Pulpery Media presents Po' Boy Pundits with your hosts, Brock and Ben. This is where we discuss the political headlines that grab our attention and all those little jerks that infuriate us.
This is going to be exhausting.
I said, where in the United States isn't the sexy story.
No, it's all over the place. But the epicenter.
Yeah, like
for a lot of it is someone who's not even president yet.
Correct. Like it hadn't even gone. The Trump's tariff policies haven't even gone and aren't even been put on the floor of Congress.
No.
And three countries, two of which are neighbors.
Our neighbors, like we touch borders with them, right there.
Are already going like,
Hey, buddy. And then he tries to have a conversation with them, and he comes out and he's like, and they're like, nah, pump the brakes. That's not what happened.
Well, one of the interesting things that I read that it didn't occur to me at the time, particularly with Mexico and Canada, is if Trump does go get those tariffs passed, that's in violation of
the act he signed.
Yeah, of the new NAFTA that he created. With a different acronym
because it's got to be him.
Right, yeah.
I came up with something new.
Right. So you're going, like, why would you do that and then eventually with the intent of violating it? So then that creates a whole cadre of problems.
Not to mention that they can just be like, you know what? You're not getting anything from us.
Correct. Which, I mean, minimum would be if we invalidate our part of the agreement, then they are free to invalidate their part. So then they don't have to trade with us.
That's what I'm saying.
At all.
We're done.
Which would mean, again, and we touched on this last time, which is, and again, tariffs work if you have the infrastructure for what you're going to put tariffs on, which
Correct.
is the idea is that it's to force people to buy American. But at this point,
you know when that worked? Like in the 50s?
Right. 40s, 20s.
Yeah.
But I mean,
you mean that's when America was great? Is that what they're trying to bring it back to? Make America great again?
I guess, but like you're not going to convince you have.
There's no infrastructure straight up.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that, GM, Chrysler's not even American owned anymore.
No.
But GM,
Dodge, is
maybe,
that all under GM?
Ford,
Chevy?
Yeah, but like Ford.
And Harley Davidson.
They all moved their factories to like Mexico because labor was cheaper and they didn't have to deal with unions. So then what I guess like Trump is apparently on the back end going to do is force those companies to rebuild factories in the United States,
right,
and then have to reach agreements with the UAW.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that's great, but we don't have that right now. So when Mexico goes, you ain't getting your cars.
Yeah, exactly.
The only companies...
And isn't it oil in Canada?
Yeah. Tons
right.
And also, like, what oil we have in Alaska has to pass through Canada. I was going to say,
Alaska's up there by itself, so it's got to come somewhere, right? Yeah.
Or you run the risk of drunk captains on oil tankers having to sail that down the West Coast. And
we all saw how that worked out back in the day.
That always works out really
Valdez,
well.
Right?
Yeah, that one.
Yes.
There's been a couple of others.
That was just the one that I remember.
So it's just, and again, it's like this is just all based on a promise, which good on the president of Mexico and Trudeau in Canada of before he even comes into office, going like, you can't do that.
I wrote that down. That what's going to happen that these nations start calling him out. Because they're the ones who are going to keep him on the world stage at check.
Yeah.
He can fuck us up domestically, but it's going to take longer than 4 years. And that's why I went down the rabbit hole of Hitler.
It could.
No.
These
things take...
Well, yeah, but, sometimes it can...
And technically, he's only got 2.
Right. But, logically speaking, if circumstances are right, all it takes is... one big thing,
like get rid of terms,
or
term limits. I mean, for the president.
No, because Because you'd have to amend the Constitution.
Okay.
Which means you'd have to have 3/4 of the states okay it. Which
that's not happening. Okay, and we
also,
talked about that.
That takes a lot of time. But again, the idea of something happening to where Congress gives him martial law.
That's what he wants.
Well, I mean, that would be...
He's baiting a race war like Manson so he can just shut it the fuck down.
But, at the same time, though, back to what you were saying...
I'm going to need definition of martial law.
We'll
get there.
But real quickly going back to... And I think that's an interesting point is what does that say about a leader of a country if your neighboring countries are going like, no.
No, right, exactly.
Like, hey, big boy, sit down. Here's a Big Mac. Shut the fuck up.
Right.
Let the grown-ups talk.
I think...
And it's not like, we're not talking about like England here. Like,
no.
We're not talking about...
We're talking about...
Keir Starmer coming in and being like, hey, you got to pump the brakes on this shit.
Mexico,
right.
Which is like his biggest enemy.
Right, and
like he fucking talks about them so much, and then it's a female president,
and she's Jewish.
Oh, we talked about that.
Yeah.
So this was her first time being able to go, nah, dog.
A Latina Jewish woman, like fantastic. Like
he had that phone call with her, and he spewed those lies, and she was like, "That's no."
Yeah, which I wouldn't even attempt. Whatever that accent might be. Like,
yep, nope, I'm not going there.
I don't know what a Hispanic Yiddish would sound like.
It's not Shia Halu.
Yeah, I bet it's amazing. But I mean, like the fact that she's like, fine. It's like, we don't need to send people over to you anymore. Like,
nope.
I mean, essentially going like, we'll keep all the drugs.
Well, and then I saw where Mexico like the largest haul of fentanyl or something within the past couple of days.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's why she got elected was to really crack down on like the bad shit, like, which is like fucking bananas that we live in a world now where it's it's kind of like, oh, coke, fine,
no,
nobody gives a shit, and it's hey,
I mean that's what it is at this point. Like,
hey, can you loosen up the hair, easy on the heroin dealing because we got to get this fentanyl shit under control.
Right.
But that's not even...
But she's also stopping people coming in her southern border,
right,
too.
Yeah.
So, like, right.
Well, that's the biggest fuck you to the United States that you can do.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, you want to come to Tijuana? No.
No.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry, 18-year-old dudes.
Sorry, Orange County kids.
Thank you. That's what I was 90210 zip code. Yeah.
You can go party in the Arizona desert now.
Right. Because your dad has to get his boat out of here, too.
Or hey, every Southern Karen, you need to go through extra checks when you go to Cozumel.
You do now. That's if they let you in.
Right. You can't get off the boat.
Nope.
No more duty-free shitty T-shirts for you.
Or prescription drugs, which is why you're there.
Right.
So now you got to go home and deal with your kids.
Right. And you got to get Xanax the legal way.
Oh, man. I can't wait. So here's what scares me is the reason he's able to throw these tariffs out is because the people under him are Mike Johnson. I want to hurt this little man.
Well, so what you're going to... This is where what China's done, I think, plays that's more of
China
like a bigger
said,
thing.
Fine, we'll stop sending you
everything,
vital material.
Right, everything we need to make computer chips.
Correct.
Which is that's also part of Trump's bread and butter is that we need to become the largest manufacturer of the newest processors and stuff like that.
You can't do that without your fucking
because
words that I don't even know.
It's like gallium and
they sounded fake.
Yeah, where it's well, they're on like that bottom section of the periodic table.
And who knew? Right? But they're like the people you don't care about on that table.
No, yeah.
And they're like, now look at us now, motherfucker.
Well, I mean, we ran into that in the 80s.
That's BlackRock. That's why BlackRock. That's why we sent the tornadoes to North
yeah.
Carolina to get the
Well, that was for lithium.
lithium. Yeah. So we can make lithium batteries here now.
Right. But to power what? We're not going to be able to make the computer chips. So the infrastructure that Trump wanted to build to manufacture that stuff, now and if China's going to do it, then the other countries that can mine that,
right,
but it sounds like the biggest payloads of that are in Asia proper. So
what is our biggest export?
Freedom.
Like, seriously, why don't these countries go, you're not giving us anything except protection at this point, and you're not even willing to protect us, so
you're giving us really shitty hip-hop.
Right.
I don't know how we win in this.
We don't. This is a lose-lose situation, so what we're going to do is stop.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's fair. We have. I'm not trying. I don't want to say jump the shark because that's also a passé cultural term. But anyway, we
have.
We've gotten to the point where McDonald's and blue jeans and rock and roll doesn't do anything anymore.
No.
And because we,
you know what? And now it's us versus them. That's everything.
Yeah, and past
now on the world stage,
past administrations understood that, and that's why you had to. We made trade deals with Canada and Mexico,
right?
Whether people like them or not, that's what keeps us going. Because as a continent, we can.
That's why Europe is able to do all of that,
right?
And then with the EU, there you go.
Correct, and
that's free trade, right, amongst all of them because they're under one union. Right. Yeah.
And they have the same currency and they have open borders. That was always the problem with us, which is I think, Canada's savvy enough. Mexico, it's always in their best interest. Would definitely want open borders. The problem is what's in between. And do you really want Americans just freely traveling?
No.
Into your area with all their guns and
fuck no.
Yeah.
No.
And crazy ass children.
Other countries need to put up a wall to keep us in.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we could have a version of the EU here, but the problem is not Canada or Mexico. The problem is us.
All right. So is he even going to call it? Not everyone's bluff because no one's bluffing here. But is he going to try to do these tariffs? Does he need? He doesn't need Congress for that, does he?
No, he does.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they control Congress, simple majority.
Correct.
Right?
Now, again, you're seeing this is that so again with the China thing, Tim Cook or Tim Apple, as Trump likes to, has already flown to see Trump and been hey,
yeah, somebody needs to.
You can't let this happen because
Jeff Bezos should be too.
Right. I mean, where every what is it every Intel factory in the United States, every computer manufacturer,
Texas Instruments.
Sure, yeah, calculators need that shit.
Yeah,
I mean,
we need computers too.
Even that base, yeah. So, Apple, Dell, Google with Chromebooks, all the it's they are beginning to. And if they can't get Trump on their side, they're going to pressure Congress,
right?
And saying you cannot let this happen, and that's what's fucked up about it right now.
Everything.
This is just now based on the promise of it.
That's what I was trying to get at. I guess we'll get at it on the other side here, but
we haven't passed anything yet, and China's already no, we're stopping.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
And then South Korea. Oh my God!
We'll get to that. I mean,
we will.
Yeah.
Trump is we're fucked. God damn it, we're fucked. So do we know who the Republican majority in the Senate's going to be? I keep asking you that.
They already elected the dude, didn't it? John Thune.
Oh yeah, they did.
Who's a semi-rational Republican. The following segment has been brought to you by the Goddamn Sauce. Go to thegdsauce.com for details to order all the sauces to replace your ordinary condiments. The Po' Boy Podcast is a production of Pulpery Media, produced and edited by Ben Grimion, marketing by Brock Ryder, graphic design by Beck Ryder and Ben Grimion, Music by the Heisenberg Compensators.